What's going on, YouTube? It's Pelfrey. And as I mentioned in a previous video, so I'm going to reach out to CaribSea and see if they'll send me another 20-pound box of the Life Rock shapes. And what do you know? I reached out to them and said, hey, I love this product. I'm amazed at the possibilities whenever you start scaping a tank. And again, I'm not good at scaping anything. Would you be interested in sending me another 20 pounds so that I could actually have all Life Rock in my tank? And the woman that I had been going back and forth with previously said, absolutely. And she understood. She knew that once I saw the first shipment, I would be coming back for more. And she knew that out of the gate, and she was not wrong. So this stuff obviously was packaged well. You can see there were a couple pieces that broke off of the structures, but in the end, those are very, very small pieces, and I can either glue them back to the structures or, use them elsewhere as far as escape is concerned. But again, I know I've talked a lot about this rock, and I've been in the reef tank hobby for, we'll say, 5-6 years now. And this rock is amazing. The possibilities that you can do with this rock it's endless. I will say again, I'm not good at aquascaping a tank. My tank has gone through a couple different variations of aquascapes, and with the Life Rock shapes, it's almost like it just comes together because they just like basically snap. It's like taking Legos and snapping the pieces together. So I got a couple different pieces here, which are, the same pieces that I got in the previous box, and I'm thrilled. I love this. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 islands or if I'm going to actually have an arch in the middle of the tank. I feel like I need to have something in the middle of the tank because otherwise it's just wasted real estate. And with the CaribSea Life Rock, I mean, the possibilities are endless, and I cannot wait to get this stuff cycled and into the tank. And I'm going to take my time and cycle this stuff a little bit differently because previously I used Cyperax only to cycle the rock that's in the tank now. And I'm actually going to use a combination of Cyperax and live rock that I've had in the sump that went into the display, that went back into the sump, and it's going to go into a bucket and cycle this Life Rock so that I know that it is better cycled. And again, I am pretty nervous about pulling the right structure out of my tank because it's been there for 4 or 5 years now, but I have to do it. This stuff has to go into the tank. There is no if, and, is, or buts about it. The Life Rock from CaribSea is definitely going to be my primary rock in the Red Sea Reefer, and if I have anything to say about it in any tank I have after this tank. And if I've said it once, I've said it again multiple times. This stuff just escapes so easily that it just makes sense. And I'm very glad that I got a hold of this rock. Not to mention, I have now 44 pounds of the rock that's going to go into the tank. And as you can see here, the possibilities with this rock are absolutely endless. And I cannot wait to see what I can come up with. Now, the end result is I do plan to get it in the tank, and then I'm going to drain the water out of the tank, super glue the pieces together so that they stay together, and that will secure them, and that should be good to go. Now, on the left is the last batch of the CaribSea Life Rock shapes that I got, and previously in the video you saw the new shipment that I got, and they're the same. Like I said, you got a couple arches, you got that top piece, and then what I would call a base piece of rock that's going on the bottom. And that's probably what I'll do again in the tank, but I cannot stress this enough. I'm pretty nervous about removing that right side structure. So I'm gonna cycle the new rock. I mean, I'm gonna do things totally different. Now here's an interesting video, and this is the tank at night. And I don't know how many of you look at your tank at night, but I almost wish, or I do wish, that I could have a display refugium, because refugiums just have so much life in them, and there's so many things to look at in the refugium. But unfortunately, mine's in the cabinet and I don't see it very often. But on this particular night, I decided I'm gonna look in here and I'm gonna film it, and there are just critters moving around everywhere. And I know I have bristleworms and asterina stars in the tank, but that's not what this is right here. And you know, I don't know exactly what this is on the acrylic sump here, but it's mesmerizing to just look at your refugium and just see the life that's in there. So again, if I could have a display refugium, I would most definitely run a good sized display refugium. So hey, maybe that's something I think about later on whenever it's time to upgrade or just get a different tank, or hey, you know, never know. I also added a valve that came off of an older RODI system to the output of my current SpectraPure system with another valve there. But basically I wanted one valve so that I could flush at the system, which is on the left there and it's going down the drain. And then I wanted another valve on the right hand side so that I can make good production water. And obviously on the production water side, I did add another valve so I could connect the tubing whenever it comes to make new water and run that out into the garage. But this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And I started searching through my tote of different parts that I had, and I almost bought a similar valve, but I was glad that I looked at some of the stuff that I'd collected for a while, and hey, it worked out for me. And for fun, this is just a slow motion video of adding salt to water. Now, if you don't know, you always add salt to water, not the other way around. But I was heating up water for a water change and I decided, hey, let's do a slow-mo video. In the middle of doing a 8-ish gallon water change, I noticed something. Can you tell the difference here? This water is clearly dirty and this water is crystal clear. So it's been a while since I've done a water change on the tank. And the only reason I'm doing one now is because I need some water to cycle the new rock in. But I'm probably gonna start using this white bucket to drain water. I normally put it in buckets, like a blue or a green or an orange bucket. But I'll probably start using the white container to drain the water out so I can see the color of it, because I've never seen this before. I mean, I know that it happens, but I've never seen it before. And it's very interesting. So what I'm gonna do is, obviously I'm gonna put this water back in. I'm gonna pull these rocks out of the sump here. Probably throw a piece of the CaribSea rock in the sump here, put some of that Approx here, throw the rest of the CaribSea rocks in here, and start cycling these bad boys. Got the water change done. Everything is still stirred up a little bit. And again, I'm going through some like diatom issues because of this rock. And I've been stirring the sand bed over. It's not dinos, I know that, and I hope not anyway, but I know that. That sounds terrible, but I'm pretty sure, I know it's because of the new rock that I added, and ideally I would have cycled it in like the refugium section of the sump, but I did not want to put it in there with all the chaeto. So I cycled it with Marine Pure, and this light's about to die. But I did clean some of this stuff up, and I took the probes off. I actually have that Tunze pump off, and I'm soaking them right now in some citric acid. But I did get one piece of rock in here. So I had 3 pretty good sized pieces of rock that were originally in the sump. Then they went to the display, and then they went back to the sump again. So they've been in the tank for months now. And then I added some Approx. I have been dosing nitrates, and I am getting nitrate reading on my test kit now. I consider him a really good friend of mine, Scurvy, at Scurvy's Reef, has been coaching me through the new additions, which, you know, hopefully this water change doesn't aggravate them too bad, because they've actually been looking mighty well. So I need to take this light down and charge it up. Telegram on Instagram brought to my attention that I'd never really paid attention to is there's rust here. And I do have the light really close to the water, and I flipped it over and look at that. There's rust there, there's salt creep there. I tried to clean it off the best that I can. So I might buy another one and see if I can get some like nylon screws or stainless screws, and then figure out a new mounting method so that I don't have rust dangling over the tank. Now I get it, I have these clamps here, but you know, I feel like they're out of harm's way. So let's take a quick walk back to the garage. Show you what I got going on here. Now with the 5-gallon bucket, this was way easier because I have lids for 5-gallon buckets. And I don't have a lid for this, so what I'm thinking about doing is taking saran wrap and wrapping it over it, primarily just to keep the kids out of it. I do have bristle worms in my tank. I know I have them. I don't really care too much about them. They're actually helping me, to be honest with you, but there's probably, because at the bottom of this bucket is where the rock came out of the sump, and there's siperacs all over this tank, but there's probably bristle worms in here, and the last thing that I want is for one of my kids to stumble across a bristle worm. So I don't have a lid for this 10-gallon brute, so yeah, I'll probably just take some saran wrap and just get it covered up so that the kids stay out of it. I'm not so concerned about evaporation. I have water over here, and I have 15, 25 gallons still, so that's all just RO water, and topping it off will be super, super simple. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Stay tuned for what else is going on inside the Red Sea Reefer 250. Be sure to check out the website at pelfrey.net. Follow me on Instagram at pelfreysbrief. Catch you on the next one.